All right, betrayed, disappointed, apathetic, anxious, discouraged. That is how 5 Trump voters describe their feelings about the country right now. Trump voters. They were part of a New York Times focus group with a dozen Trump voters, 6 Republicans, 6 independents, all of them unhappy with the president's second term. In fact, 9 out of 12 of them say they regret their vote, complaining the president has not kept his promises, like no new wars, tax breaks, lower prices. Kitty, a 36-year-old independent mom from Pennsylvania, put it this way: we're starting to see we're getting disillusioned. All these false promises, we don't know it for what it is right now. Chris, a Republican electrician from Illinois, is worried the president isn't focused on people like him. Quote, the stock market, Wall Street, he's focused on the rich. Daniel, an independent from California who works in manufacturing, agreed. He said, I think he's protecting his rich buddies. It's pretty hard to tell a rich person what to do. They're going to do whatever they want. John, a 62-year-old Republican, said something similar, using the Trump renaming the Kennedy Center as his example. Quote, he kind of does what he wants almost without any repercussions, whether we like it or not. There were also concerns about corruption. Here is Nancy, an independent from Arizona. She says everything he's doing, from the little things like tearing down part of the White House to putting up the ballroom, everything he does just feels very corrupt and self-serving. And despite mostly being out of the news cycle, we did hear about Epstein as well. Michelle, a Latina Republican, said, we're still cloaking and protecting people of power because they're not people, because they're people of power. Protecting the people in power because they're in power. So are they outliners, those Trump voters? The numbers do not suggest that. A recent Fox News poll shows voters now trust Democrats more than Republicans on the economy. The economy! That's the first time that's happened in 16 years. The Cook Political Report currently rates 217 House seats as leaning blue. It takes 218 to win the majority. Even the Senate is now in play. The Times, speaking to multiple GOP strategists, reports Trump's allies are exasperated by the president's lack of focus on the elections, even when he's holding events designed to highlight his highlights. For example, right after he gave a speech on his no tax on tips policy a couple of weeks ago, you remember this, when he went outside of the Oval Office to get a prearranged delivery of McDonald's from the, quote, DoorDash granny. Well, when he took questions from reporters during that event, instead of trying to keep the focus on his policy, he took questions and waxed poetic on a series of things, including the fight with the Pope, another in a series of own goals, throwing momentum on the midterms to the Democrats. As longtime GOP strategist Mike Murphy puts it, the Democrats, not because of anything they've done, but because they're not Trump, have surged.
A man who voted for Trump and donated $60,000 to his campaign now says he regrets it and he was lied to. Yes, this is Bruce Fenton, and he said, I'm a Republican, I supported Trump, I raised money for him, I voted for him, I donated $60,000 to his campaign. Trump lied. He rug pulled us all. I didn't vote for Lindsey Graham / America Second policies. You can disagree with me if you want, it's your right to be fooled, but if you say I have TDS or am a liberal, you need a new argument. There are millions of conservatives and members of the now torched Broad Coalition just like me. The only ones left supporting him are MAGA always Trumpers who place the man above the policies and our country. And he actually did include a photo confirming that he donated $60,000 to a Trump PAC. His name is up there and everything connected to him. There are some people out there I genuinely feel for when they get duped by a politician who said they were going to do one thing, they did the opposite. This guy is not one of them. I mean, he went out of his way to support Donald Trump. He's in the business sector. He donated 60 grand that could have gone to a charity or something like that. And now he feels lied to, he feels rug pulled. If he wants to right his wrong and apologize to everybody in the United States and around the world, quite frankly, he can donate 60 grand to the Democrats, 60 grand to charity, and then vote.
I know that people are not gonna like listening to this, but honestly, stick around and listen to it because it's gonna be beneficial for everyone if we, at the very least, understand what's happening. We know that MAGA voters, supporters are leaving in droves, right? The entire movement is melting down. But I feel like we don't really hear too often, except for the super loud ones on social media, right? The exact reason behind these people coming to the realization that what they did was a mistake. But a recent group interview with a bunch of regretful Trump supporters from the New York Times, and this is not by any means giving the New York Times any praise or credit because they fucking suck. But I do think that looking at this can at least put us into the headspace of why these people did this, why they regret it, and how they currently think on things ranging from the economy to what we're doing over in Iran to the Epstein files, which again, you may not like hearing. I certainly did not like reading it. I was like, how can you be clear-headed on this, but then not on this? But my point still stands that at least knowing about it helps us gauge what's really going on. And then we can use that to our advantage in the midterms. And this one is a great first example of what I was just talking about, with these people being clear-headed on one thing Trump does and very clearly able to see how it's wrong, but then they still turn around and overall support him. This woman named Michelle, who was interviewed, says that she can recognize that what she did was foolish and that everything her friends on the other side of the aisle said would happen are happening. But then she loses the plot later on, saying, I really believe that if he had just done the things he said he was gonna do, he would have been a great president. Completely ignoring that he literally is doing what he said he was gonna do. Y'all just didn't want to see it and clearly still don't. Another woman who was interviewed named Pamela kind of expressed the same thing, saying she started noticing the other people around her who were mostly conservative kind of like side-eyeing each other and being like, wait, I think we made a big mistake. But at the same time, she's not personally embarrassed. She's just embarrassed for what the country is going through, seemingly not arriving at that point yet where she realizes she had a part in that. And then more on that theme of kind of like getting it through their heads, this guy, Jose, explains that he started to kind of see things were going not how he expected them to when Trump started doing the ICE deportations and separating families, even saying that his teenage daughter asked him, why did you vote for him, Dad? And that broke his heart every time. But in the same way that the other two did, he's still kind of scapegoating and not taking that personal accountability, saying, well, I didn't think he was gonna do this, so I regret what he's doing, but I didn't want him to do that. And then where Iran and Israel are concerned, I found these two answers really interesting because they both come from independent Latino men who, to my surprise, seem to be very, very clear-headed about what exactly is going on over there. With the top guy, Daniel, saying every single time there's peace talks, Israel just has to intervene and attack the country. The evil in the Middle East, in that whole area, is Israel. I think Israel's doing what they say was done to them. And this second guy on the bottom, Jose here, saying the evil in the Middle East is Israel. We shouldn't be in Iran. They don't have a nuclear weapon. And remember here, even though they're independent, these are Trump 2024 voters. And then with regards to Epstein, this person interviewed named Michelle said, it bothers the hell out of me. We're still cloaking and protecting people of power just because they're people of power. And then hearing from Miss Pamela again saying, it's just normal. It's like a boys club. They just cover up everything and they keep their friends out of it. And then y'all, this kind of gagged me. Though I voted for Obama, I don't see him doing that. I don't see Reagan doing that. Kind of alluding to this concept that we all know, right? Like, this is not politics as normal. Yeah, it's become extremely horrifically normalized, but it seems they're kind of starting to get that concept of Trump is not just a regular leader that people are over-exaggerating about. And again, y'all, I'm not saying this to say that we have to forgive these people or give them the benefit of the doubt or embrace them with open arms. No. I'm merely just saying that there is stuff in what they're saying that we can use to help ourselves. The walls are very much closing in. The rats are very much jumping ship, as I just laid out. And no, we don't have to necessarily offer them a spot on our lifeboat, but we can at least get in the water with a mic and be like, hey, why'd you jump? Let me know what you guys think. Did any of these answers surprise you? Let me know in the comments. And as those walls continue to close in, be sure to do all the things you can to push this out to get people more aware. Like, repost, share with a friend, comment those thoughts, and follow me for more like this, because there's gonna be more.
Porch family, we need to talk about this economy because America right now feels like somebody handed the national budget to a man running entirely on gas station hot dogs and confidence. The numbers that dropped this week are rough. Fresh vegetables are up Seafood's up. Gas prices jumped after the Iran mess started spiraling. Wholesale inflation just hit its highest level since 2022, and people can feel it now. Not economists feel it. Human beings standing in Walmart holding 2 bags of grapes like they are luxury handbags feel it. That is where this country is right now. I swear grocery shopping lately feels less like running errands and more like competing in a survival game show called Guess Which Basic Necessity You Can Afford This Week. Because you walk into the store for eggs, lettuce, and toothpaste and somehow leave emotionally humbled with one reusable bag and a mild identity crisis. And meanwhile, the approval numbers on the economy for the president are collapsing so hard you could think somebody attached cinder blocks to them and tossed them directly into the Gulf. We are talking numbers worse than Carter, worse than Biden, worse than Obama, worse than Bush, worse than Clinton. At this point, the approval ratings are moving through the polls like a raccoon through a campground, completely disoriented and surviving entirely on vibes. And honestly, the wildest part is watching politicians still talk about the economy like Americans are not actively living inside it. Sir, people know. They know because the price of seafood now requires a small business loan. They know because filling up the car feels like financing a jet ski. They know because everybody in America has recently started at the grocery store in silence like the cashier just personally betrayed them. That is the real danger politically. Not headlines, not cable news, the feeling. Because once regular people start associating your presidency with standing in the checkout line whispering, "You have got to be kidding me," under their breath, that sticks. And if this keeps going into November, these numbers are not going to stay trapped inside spreadsheets and polling memos. They are going to walk straight into the voting booth wearing flip-flops and financial trauma. So share this, subscribe to the Southern Punk Project at the link in my bio to show your support, and follow us here for more Porch Truth, because as long as this timeline keeps feeling like the economy is being managed by a man yelling, "We'll figure it out," while actively driving a golf cart into a fireworks store, I'm going to keep reporting from this porch.
I don't think about Americans' financial situation.
Baby, y'all got played again. America, you were told who Donald Trump was before he ran for president the first time. And you saw it before he became president this time. And somehow folks still lined up like it was Black Friday at Walmart and handed him the keys to do it again. And now look around. Gas prices are higher than giraffe knees. Groceries expensive enough to need a cosigner. Folks out here choosing between eggs and electricity. This man looks straight in the camera and says, "Well, I don't worry about Americans' financial struggles." What? You need to understand it was never a slip up. He was being honest. Too many of y'all thought y'all was part of the team. No, you were the equipment. And I keep telling y'all, every token eventually gets spent. Every single one of them. America was built to protect money first and people second. And as long as y'all keep fighting harder for billionaires than you fight for yourself, the squeeze on regular people is going to just keep getting tighter and tighter.
So this message is for Trump. I voted for you, right? I thought that you said that you was gonna make America great again, right? But why did I just see a video of a woman in a grocery store getting chocolate chips? Just buying chocolate chips to make chocolate chip cookies. And the chocolate chips went from, they're like $10 right now. And some of them were almost $17. It's unaffordable for groceries right now. There's no jobs in America. Okay? You said that getting illegals out, we will have more jobs. There's no jobs. What happens to America being great again? Because America is literally a nightmare right now. Like literally a nightmare for everyone. Americans are unhappy. We're slaving and working damn near 50 hours a week if you have a job, just for the government to take everything from them. You tax us on everything. People's paychecks are going to high-ass rents that people can barely afford. They're not even home. Sorry, guys, I have to see where I'm looking because it's dark. Hold on. They're not even home to even spend time in their $2,000 apartment because they're too busy at work trying to pay their rent, their bills, and they're getting taxed on everything. What the fuck is going on in America? Because America is far, far from great again. And then on top of all of this, you're having a meeting with Mark Zuckerberg, can't stand him, and Bill Gates, who wants to put chips in everybody. Like, what the hell is going on? What is going on? Israel's literally owns the United States at this point. You do anything that Israel tells you, and they're literally starving people to death and killing them. The Epstein files, I don't even want to get started on that. I don't even want to get started on that, because you guys know that there is a list, and on top of that, there's a lot of politicians involved and a lot of high people involved, that it'll destroy them. So I apologize, my phone died, but please tell me, sorry, I was eating. How is America great again? How? Americans are suffering right now. There's something bigger going on. We just don't really know. We can't touch it. We just don't know exactly what it is. But I feel like we're just going to get screwed and fucked at this point. And that's really sad. It's really sad, Trump. You got to really, really prove yourself at this point, because there's no faith. There's no faith in America at this point. America is plummeting. We can't afford food. We can't afford these bills that, you have to pay for everything. If you don't pay on time, there's a late fee. You got people overdrafting, literally like emptying out their accounts, using their credit cards to pay for everything because everything is so expensive. How is America great again? At this point, it's pointless to vote for anybody. It's pointless, because you're all on the same side. You're all on the same side at this point. What are you going to do to change what is going on for Americans right now? What are you going to do to change this? Because we're literally in like some kind of silent recession or some shit right now. Like, toilet tissue and napkins are like damn near $20. You got to pay $20 to wipe your ass. You got to pay freaking damn near $10 for deodorant. Food. Do you really want me to get started on food? Because the fact that the lady was trying to get chocolate chips and they were $10 and some of them were $17. I don't even know, like, what the hell? Is this the tariffs? Like, what is it? What is it? What is it at this point? America is far from great again. That's all I have to say. This is sad. This is sad as hell.
Meet Jose Joe Ceballos, the former mayor of Coldwater, Kansas. And right now, Jose is facing a very tough situation as he has just turned himself into Immigration and Customs Enforcement. And the reason why he surrendered to immigration is because he pleaded guilty to misdemeanor election charges tied to voting as a non-citizen. Jose says, quote, "I'm obviously nervous. I don't know what's going to happen." His attorney then said, "What I was told by ICE officers is that he was arrested on an administrative warrant. They're essentially saying that he's removable from the United States for past conduct." Jose is a legal resident of the US but not a citizen. And the thing is, he started his citizenship process in February of 2025, and DHS also said that Jose was convicted of battery in the past. After Jose was re-elected as mayor of Coldwater in November, Department of Homeland Security released his voter registration forms saying he illegally voted and committed a felony by claiming citizenship. It says he committed another felony by lying on naturalization paperwork and saying he had never claimed US citizenship. And here comes the funny and ironic part about this entire situation. Guess who Jose voted for in the 2024 election?
You regret voting for Trump?
I did.
Do you? He's asking, do you regret it?
Oh, no. Nope.
Why?
I don't think I need to answer that. I don't think I can.
Now, even though Jose's vote is not legal, I'm not exactly sure why he's complaining about the entire situation that he's in, since he voted for the guy that ran on mass deportations. Because his thought process is totally giving me chickens for KFC, parents for the Hunger Games, and kids for Casey Anthony. But I'm just gonna play this song in honor of Jose's invalid vote. But anyways, Jose, have the day you voted for. Bye.
Welcome to my channel. So today we are talking why MAGA voters are not happy with the current administration. Right now, MAGA voters, they are literally leaving MAGA. They say it's no longer serving their interests. So why is that? So stay tuned, let's watch, because we're going to hear views from several people, and then at the end, we're going to talk about the discussion. Thank you. Welcome.
A woman in West Virginia who was one of Donald Trump's biggest supporters now regrets her vote for Trump because he fired her from the federal government. Just take a look at the clip.
This flag used to hang there. This was the flag Jennifer Piggott proudly hung outside her home during campaign 2024.
We had the flag. I had the shirt. I was a MAGA junkie.
A MAGA junkie who thought her government job would be safe with Donald Trump in office. She was wrong.
I cried. It's scary, you know, it's a really scary thing, and I was embarrassed.
He's a good boy. Piggott was abruptly fired last month from the Treasury Department's Bureau of Fiscal Service, based here in Parkersburg, West Virginia. The reason given for the firings of 125 probationary employees at the Bureau? Poor performance.
I had my last review on the 31st of January, and I had the highest rating that you can get on a review, less than 21 days before I was terminated for my performance.
You voted for Donald Trump.
I did.
Do you regret that vote?
Yes, I do. To cut the knees out of the working class Americans just doesn't make sense to me. I expected more from President Donald Trump.
Since speaking out, Piggott says she's received death threats and her home has been egged.
Yeah, she had her flag out, she wore the t-shirt, she was very much in Donald Trump's corner, and now she regrets it. She would not have voted for Donald Trump again, and you're seeing this sentiment all over the country. There were a lot of people out there who voted for Donald Trump to lower grocery prices or lower gas prices. Now, obviously, that's not happening, and instead, he's firing people from their jobs and destroying the federal government. We are already seeing a lot of regret from Trump voters, and I think that's only going to increase, just like you saw there.
White women and Latina women, I have an honest question for you. Black women have been the backbone in this country of organizing communities and political movements for decades. But they're also the same women that y'all call on when you need help. White women, you were all over this app back in 2022 with the overturning of Roe v. Wade, calling for black women to join the fight, asking where they were, because it affected them too. Latina women, you have just recently been on this app asking black women to join the fight against the ICE agents that have been raiding your homes and your communities and terrorizing your families. Now, black women have played a leading role in my life for many years, and they have never steered me wrong. So I'm curious, what is it that makes it so difficult for you to follow their leadership at the ballot box when they have an opportunity to make real change for you and me? You and me. What makes it difficult for you to follow their leadership or put them in the position of leadership? So let's talk about it.
Anytime I see a member of the Latin community who says they regret voting for Trump, my first instinct, because I am an empath, is to empathize with them. But then instantly I'm like, no, I can't. Because they had no empathy for their own people. And for me, that just doesn't sit right with me. There are a lot of decisions in life that we can make right on. We can't go back in time, but we can make right on a lot of the decisions that we make. But when you make a decision like that, there really is no coming back. Everything right now that's going on in LA, it truly saddens me. As someone who has a lot of friends who are Latin, born and raised in LA, I can only imagine how they feel. Earlier today, I saw a girl who posted about her regret for voting for Trump because her dad is now being deported. She asked for him to get a medical early release so he could come back. She posted her phone call and she was denied over the phone. And I do feel sorry for her, but at the same time, you made this decision. You wanted to be on that side of history, and now this is what's happening.
I don't know if you guys are aware of it, but a lot of people are saying they're leaving MAGA now and they're angry at Trump. And I'm like, why all of a sudden? They're talking about the Iran war and Trump getting involved. Some people are complaining that the groceries, inflation, gas prices, the economy pretty much has not improved like Trump promised. Day one, he was going to lower everything, make all your dreams come true, all the bullshit. So a lot of people are realizing that the economy is not improving. I mean, I don't know what you MAGAs do when you go to the grocery store. You look the other way, pretend that the prices aren't going up for the most things, the most items. A few items have gone down, but not significantly where you can say, wow, I can really feel in my wallet that things are improving. So I guess the last straw for MAGA was the war. That Trump might be getting into a war and MAGA can handle it, can stand it, because they don't want another war. And Trump promised no wars. But you MAGAs were okay when he said, they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. Jimmy goes to school. 4 days later, he comes back with an operation and he's now Julie. All these lies, you guys were okay with it. So you're okay. I mean, you're leaving MAGA. You're abandoning Trump. You're mad at Trump. But you're still racist? You're still homophobic? Xenophobic? You're still enjoying seeing immigrants being deported, families separated, people crying on the streets because their family are being torn apart, and you guys are, that's what I voted for. So you're leaving MAGA with all that baggage, right? So you're not changing. You're the same. It's just because you're mad at Trump, right? You're not realizing, wow, I was in a cult. Wow, I can't believe that I had that perception against the LGBTQ. So you're not acting like that, right, MAGA? The thing was the war. Oh, and the grocery price is not going down, but the war did it, right? Everything else, you're going to take it with you. You're going to still be you. Yeah, no, that's not going to fly.
So BuzzFeed put out a really interesting article that's titled, Orange Man supporters who finally woke up from the MAGA cult in 2026 are revealing their last straw. And a Reddit user dropped the question, saying, anyone who used to support Orange Man and has changed their mind over the last few weeks, what made you change? And there were about 7,000 responses within 2 days. One user, who's from Minneapolis, has woken up because of the tragedies that took place in Minneapolis, specifically with Alex Preddy. Another comment says, my in-laws, closet Donald voters, are mad that they can't make National Park camping reservations. Like, that's the most important thing going on in this country right now. This user writes, I'm a moderate and honestly, he lost me when he and Vance were berating Zelensky in the Oval Office. This user writes, the fact that they are using the weaponization of federal government against American citizens and political opponents. The lack of due process going on. Kidnapping of foreign leaders such as Maduro. The idea of him running for a third term. Threats of economic damage and even annexation and invasion of long-standing allies. This user here says his parents were disgusted by the comments of the death of Rob Reiner, where he mentions to his parents about all of the despicable things he said during his first term. But 10 years later, they're finally disgusted. This user writes, I allowed myself to be brainwashed, and I own that I was wrong. I voted for him and cried when he won the first time, and defended his first-term actions online. Yeah, I thought the wall was a waste of money, but none of that opened my eyes. I refused to watch the J6 footage, believing that it was a hoax, like I was told by all the conservative news media. My eyes were open, but slowly. I regret to say that I was duped. Does that make me stupid? Yeah, it does. But at least now I can see the light, and I'm beyond enraged now. I wish I hadn't swallowed all that fake news CNN shit. I really wish I had not voted for him just because he wasn't Hillary, but I am now the only registered Democrat in my family. This user writes, my wife and her mom voted for him because they thought he would lower their taxes. She's a federal worker and works in grants management, so her opinion changed pretty quickly. Probably because she lost her job. This user writes, I initially supported frozen water until I saw what was happening in Minnesota. When Renee was unalived, A switch completely flipped in me, and now I can see what is really happening. I am pissed off with the blatant lies and lack of compassion and the all-out bullying, not to mention unaliving, that is happening to American citizens. This administration must be stopped. This user writes that she's pretty much afraid to be racially profiled, and she's afraid because the Supreme Court backed a decision saying that it's justifiable to stop and detain someone without proof of citizenship on their person if they seem suspicious, and being not visibly white is just considered just cause. Number 11 is a double whammy, where it says not me, but one of my former friends only stopped defending the POS when he started badmouthing Somalis several weeks ago because his wife's side of the family is Somali, and he himself is Haitian. I'm going to do a part 2 on this, but this is just some of the testimonials of some folks from that article.
What are people not talking about that they should?
We're not talking about our worldview. Everybody's laughing at America because we have the weakest president we've ever had in the history. He likes everybody but America. Because he's crooked, he's gotten a lot of money, millions over the years with his son Hunter. But the thing of it is, Russia, China, everybody's laughing because we have no strength. We are not the America of 10 years ago. It's scary.
So we were stronger when President Obama was in office?
No.
That was 10 years ago.
No, yeah. Obama started this whole mess and started dividing us. When Trump came in, he started getting us back to our roots, back to loving America, back to helping get rid of the regulations so we can be more energy efficient. Now, look at, we're buying our oil from where? A foreign country, when we have enough here in this country to take care of us plus many?
Well, we've always bought our oil from other countries.
No, but we could produce more here. He's hurting big businesses. Look at what's going on. You've got big businesses that are going out of business. Did you hear about the drug? Not CVS, but one of them. Rite Aid. They're going out of business. They're closing over 100 stores.
That has nothing to do with being able to get stuff online and from Amazon?
No.
You started to talk about immigration. Tell me about that.
So who are these people in our country? They're not vetted, right? We don't know nothing of them. So
They're asylum seekers, essentially, right?
and that's fine. You know, I love people. I love diversity. I do. I honestly, in my heart, I do. What I see on TV, what I read on the news is a lot of people getting bused from Texas, Governor Abbott, saying we cannot sustain all these people coming in.
Do you think that's PR and propaganda, or do you think you take him at his word?
No, I absolutely believe it, because the reason I say I believe that is because Governor Abbott, he's sitting there saying he can't sustain this. So if Abbott, he's not even on the border where Texas is, right? And if Abbott can't sustain the influx of immigrants that are coming, then what do you think is happening in Texas, where they're right there on the border? I mean, that should speak volumes, right?
What do you think is the biggest danger in America right now?
The people pouring in from over the border. I mean, as he always said, and he has said for many years, the fentanyl, the terrorists, we've got enough problems with our own people, much less to bring in from other countries.
And what is it about? I mean, this is a nation of immigrants. What is it about immigration that gives you pause right now?
Well, it's not immigrants, because my family came straight from Italy. So it has nothing to do with immigration. It has to do with the fact that they're not even checking these people. My uncle was not allowed into the United States when my grandfather came because he had an eye condition. Now they're just letting anybody come in. It's a free-for-all. You know, my biggest fear right now is nothing is in place, or I don't know if anything's in place, to not have the election stolen again. That's my biggest fear.
So you think it was stolen last time?
Absolutely.
What has been the evidence that you've seen that convinces you?
2,000 Mules, that movie, with people actually stuffing the ballot boxes, of people having bins of ballots underneath their desks, of them stopping when he was ahead, and then all of a sudden he lost when everybody woke up the next morning. You know what? I mean, I'm no brilliant person here, but what I saw, and it's not just because I'm for Donald Trump, let the best man win, you know, but when it's stolen, it's stolen. And it was stolen, and like I said, I wasn't there, but I saw the movie of the exact things that were happening. You're not going to convince me otherwise when when you see things.
That's Dinesh D'Souza's movie you're talking about. The courts have poured over everything. People from within the administration, Republicans who were state secretaries of state have said it didn't happen. What would it take to convince you that it was a legitimate election?
Oh, they would have to really convince me, because the bottom line is Trump was out and about and rallying, and Biden was in his basement. Biden did nothing, did absolutely nothing to win that last election. He didn't. He did nothing.
Just because Trump was the harder worker.
Not just that. I mean, look at his policies. Look at what he did. How he turned this country around from the Obama generation. I never got the impression that Obama loved America. He was from this place and that place, and do we really know where he was from?
Well, he was born in Hawaii, in the United States.
Right. He was born in Hawaii, but Trump, he was an open book. I know I sound stupid to the Democrats right now, but no, I think Trump, if he doesn't have something in place, the same thing is going to happen with Biden.
What would you say is the scariest thing that's happening in the country right now that no one's talking about?
The border with Canada is a major issue. In the last 30 days, they've caught 6,000 people on the New England border with Canada. That's more than they have in the last 20 years. There was people from 72 different countries. So we're being infiltrated at all corners and crevices around this country right now. And that's not good. I mean, we're catching people on the terror warning list and things like that. So
Isn't that good? That means that we don't have open borders, right? If we're catching people coming over.
It's the ones we're not catching.
I voted for Trump in 2020 and I deeply regret it. But here's the thing. If you also voted for Trump and you also regret voting for Trump, not every online space is the right place to share that regret, especially right now. The reason I'm addressing this is because last week I posted a TikTok wearing a MAGA hat, the bright red original 2016 MAGA hat. I found it at Goodwill and I bought it because I think it's a historical relic. But one of my friends messaged me and said, hey, that's really not appropriate for right now, and I really recommend that you take it down. And their DM was like really kind and really gracious. And several people also said the same thing in the comment section. And initially I agreed with them, but I couldn't quite articulate why. Because why wouldn't you want to tell as many people online as possible that you regret voting for Trump and that Trump is clearly very dangerous? But it really made sense for me after I attended the memorial service for a young man who had passed away at my church. And basically, I had seen this young man around church. I had never personally met him. I knew who his family was. And tragically, he passed away from a long illness. And so I went to the memorial service because we've been experiencing really cold weather here in Central Texas. And I just wanted to show up. I wanted to be a face of support. So I sat in the crowd. I knew many people who were very close to him. They were all grieving, obviously. And the service was about an hour and 90 minutes. And after the service, everyone was invited to a reception that was also on location. And as everyone was milling to go toward the reception, I felt this discomfort in my physical body, kind of like, I really don't want to attend this reception. And I kind of paced the halls a little bit. I was trying to see if there's anyone I could talk to. And ultimately, I went out to my car because what I realized is that the reception doesn't feel like it's for me. Right? And I'm a sympathetic crier. And I knew that if I went to the reception and saw other people crying, I would also cry. But the thing is, the people who were feeling the most, the people who needed to grieve the most, were not me. I was not one of those people. The grief and sadness that I was feeling as someone who really didn't know this young man were very, very secondary and very tertiary. And what I needed to do was go home and talk to my husband about how heartbreaking it was that such a young man, a teenager, someone full of life, someone who was surrounded by community, passed away tragically, and that it really was untimely. Later on, I went, oh my God, that is exactly how I feel with this regret around my vote for Trump. I voted for him in 2020, not 2024, but I still feel regret for it. And there are so many spaces online where I can share that regret, but most of my community on TikTok is really struggling with the violence that they are watching unfold with ICE in Minneapolis, across the country. I live in Central Texas, where ICE is starting to ramp up here a little more. And the people that need to hear about my Trump regret are not in this space. And so for me to share, oh my God, I'm so full of regret that I voted for Trump, like it's making me feel things. We need to prioritize the grief, anger, and sadness of those who are so far past that point, and especially prioritize the experience of violence that people are having in their real life because of the Trump administration. Hopefully that made sense. But if you are watching this as a former fundie, ex-evangelical, someone who's deconstructing, drop a comment. Let me know if this makes sense to you and if this resonates. And thank you for watching.
I read a report today on Sunday, May 10th, that there are several, and I mean several, Trump supporters that are frustrated because they have not gotten their Trump mobile phone. Baby, apparently they paid $100 deposit and have not gotten anything. Well, one thing I'm going to say is I love that for them, because who in their right mind? Who in their right mind will pay anything to get a Trump anything? But yeah, all I can say is I love that for them. I love that for them. And reports are saying the people they don't know when they're going to get these Trump phones. And like I said before, who in their right mind will pay for this? So yeah, sucks to be them. That's the only thing I have to say about that is sucks to be them. And this is the man that runs on promises and don't deliver those promises.
So how are we, the people that voted for Donald Trump, supposed to continue to support him when his name has been mentioned 5,000 times in these files that have been dropped?
We're going to play this video in full. But first, we have to fact check her in real time. Check this out. It wasn't 5,000 times that his name was mentioned. It was 38,000 times across the files, including mentions of Trump, Melania Trump, Mar-a-Lago, and related terms. It's mind-blowing. Did you really have to see the files to know? All the pictures with him and Jeff. All the pictures with him, Jeff, Ghislaine Maxwell, Melania. All those pictures with them together. The videos with them together. That wasn't enough. I guess I'm going to have to do it. I told you so. We told you so. Before I show my audience your video, I want you to know something. You were used. Not only by him, by MAGA. You were used. Let me show you how I know. This is how I know. They never cared about the children. This is what they cared about. And I'm going to read this to you. From App Patriot Girl. I don't know about you, but I voted for retribution and revenge. I voted for Trump to crush the left so badly that they are afraid to show their faces in the light of day. I voted for swift, vicious justice and no mercy. It's a good thing that I'm not God, because hell would be a lot more crowded right now. It was never about the children. No, not about the children. We knew that. We knew that. It was always about revenge. Swift, vicious revenge. They don't care what they do as long as they own the libs. It's a sickness. And you were used by them. Your intentions were pure. Your intentions was to save the children. All the stuff they put in your head about the Dems and what they did to the children, or what they said they did, was bullshit. It's always been on the other side, on the side that you voted for. Now, knowing this, let's watch your video.
So how are we, the people that voted for Donald Trump, supposed to continue to support him when his name has been mentioned 5,000 times in these files that have been dropped? Honestly, I'm a little bit shocked at how people from my party, I'm a conservative, I have conservative values, voted for Trump, etc. How are we making excuses for Trump? I'm truly baffled because he wasn't convicted. I mean, how do you get your name mentioned that many times? I think it's time that we hold these people accountable that are doing these disgusting things to children. Irregardless of who you voted for, what you support, we can call something bad that is bad and still be conservative, you know? Just because we criticize a particular person or people That does not mean that we're like some leftist liberal. You know, they're calling the Epstein files a Democratic hoax. How is this a hoax?
Now I know my smart followers and smart subscribers, their ears squealed when you said irregardless. It's just regardless. You could fix it. You could fix it by voting blue in November, in the midterms. You could fix your vote. You could save the children by just voting blue in November. I used to be conservative just like you too. I used to be fed the bullshit just like you. Until one day I said, they're lying to us. And then I changed. I went from conservative Republican to independent. And now I am a registered Democrat. All the bullshit that you've heard about the left is a lie. The Republican Party used reverse psychology on you. They used it on you to vote for them. So everything that you actually hate right now is actually the right. Stop being a momo. Open your ears, open your eyes, and do the right thing. Vote blue in November. Tell me what you guys think about this in the comments. And if you haven't thrown me a follow yet, please do. Have a day!
He's doing the exact opposite of everything I voted for.
Yeah.
I want him to stop the wars. He's funding them. I want him to shrink spending, reduce the budget. He's increasing it. It's like everything that he said he's going to do, except sending immigrants back. And now he's even flip-flopped on that.
It's insane. There's two things that are insane. One is the targeting of migrant workers, not cartel members, not gang members, not drug dealers, just construction workers showing up in construction sites and raiding them, gardeners.
Donald Trump, listen, man, I supported him this last year. I apologize for doing so. It was a bad calculation. At the time, it seemed like the right one. But he should be impeached and removed for this one.
She said something about that there was like thousands of hours of tapes of people doing horrible crimes.
There is. And didn't the FBI dude say that there was nothing?
Kash Patel said there's nothing you're looking for. Oh, okay. Or just bomb Iran and everybody forgets
Just bomb Iran, yeah.
Everybody forgets about it.
The only party right now that to me seems America first is the Democrat Socialist Party.
Yep.
Bernie is America first.
I was all for fucking Trump. Now with Trump passing the law that if your kid's on if you put your baby dad on child support, they're going to be getting the money from the child, like for child tax. How the fuck does that work?
The funniest thing about this is it isn't even true. These MAGA moms are all over the internet right now screaming and crying about how they regretted voting for Trump because right-wing men who love to control women have spread this rumor all over Twitter, and it's made its way here, stating that if you're a single mother, too bad. If a man pays your child support, he gets to claim your children on his taxes as dependents, even if he hasn't seen them in who knows how long. And they are breaking down. Is this how we win? Well, interestingly enough, it's kind of weird how you don't care how your vote affects anyone else, but you start crying and backtracking when it hypothetically affects you, even if it doesn't actually affect you. And it also shows how susceptible you guys are to misinformation and how misinformation will literally sway how you think and vote. But regardless, this is how we win. We just tell these single moms out here, spread rumors. Donald Trump signed an executive order stating that you have to pay your baby daddy's car note. Donald Trump signed an executive order stating that you have to pay your baby daddy's fucking mortgage and electric bill. And I guess they'll regret their vote. This is fucking hilarious. Anyways, my name is Mercedes Chandler. Give me a follow or you won't see my face again. Thank you. Goodbye.
I've been a loyal supporter of the president for almost 20 years. This goes back to when I was 21 years old and I was Miss California at the Miss USA pageant. And I've known him, I consider him a dear friend, and I will tell you right now, I do not recognize our president. I think that we are an occupied nation. I think that a foreign country has occupied our government, and we are seeing now that this president of the United States of America is being influenced by a foreign government. And MAGA, let me tell you right now, MAGA is dead. It is deader than dead, and Americans are furious. We do not recognize President Donald J. Trump anymore.
Would I still vote for Trump if I knew then what I know now?
I'm going to guess that the answer is yes.
but it's not for the reasons that you and I would hope it's for. But let's watch and see what she says.
I would not vote for Trump again if I had the choice to go back 1 year ago today. And not because I'm disappointed with a lot of the policy or the way things are going, but the cost of that vote and the loss of two people that I love dearly.
So just to be clear, she's not upset because of the policies and the things that are happening. She's not upset that food is actually more expensive, that people are not getting their SNAP benefits, that government is shut down, that people are literally starting to starve and being grabbed off the streets. She's not upset about any of those things, right? Because those things don't affect her directly. But let's find out what she really is upset about.
And now the strain is just unbearable. And I had hoped after a year that things would kind of smooth over and calm down, but it's just not getting better. And the pain of it is a lot. So I know some people will say, well, that's what you get for voting for Trump and blah, 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 blah. But I'm heartbroken over the relationship loss. And so if I...
And there it is. She only cares because she was affected in a negative way. Because her friends, two people that were really close to her, said, I can't be friends with you anymore. And that makes total sense because no, we do not want to be friends with you. We cannot agree to disagree on human rights. We cannot be friends if you literally vote against my personal freedom or you vote for someone who's going to physically, mentally, or emotionally harm me or someone I love. We cannot be friends if you support an administration that calls a huge part of our population an infestation or an enemy within. Because when you do that, you create legislation that harms those people that you say you love. But yet, I looked at your whole video, I watched your whole video. You do not care that it's affecting them. You only care that it affects you. And that's the problem with Trump supporters. All my love.
Welcome to another episode of FAFO, where I bring you stories of MAGA voters that have entered the find out phase of their vote. Kenneth on Facebook wrote the following: I voted for Rump. For better prices. I was wrong, lol. My bad. First it was eggs. And milk. Now it's gas. I knew I gave that orange MFer too much credit. Where's the service desk? I need to return my vote, lol. And his Facebook post got a few responses. One from Justin says, I voted for the B, too, 3 times. Hate to even write that, but hey, at least I'm able to see that neither side cares. These gas prices are going to be around till about August or longer. A user named Amber responds by saying, I just truly for the life of me do not understand why the F he's still blanking after effing with the Haitians. Even but Iran? Man. And feel free to finish the rest of Amber's comment because I'm not going to read that out loud. April responds by saying, the worst part is, gas is now high again. At the same time, everything else skyrocketed. A user named Jason responds by saying, I think it's temporary pain. They should drop within the next couple weeks, and it still isn't as high as it was under Biden. I admit it sucks. Needs to be addressed. I drive a frickin' V8. But according to some, the president doesn't control the gas prices. Does he or doesn't he? But still, it effing blows. And then a user named Lewis responds to Jason by saying, I never supported Biden, but I don't ever remember $4.99 a gallon in Chillicothe. In a post from a different user on November 6th of 2024, she wrote, Rump, please make America great again, regardless of differences. In opinions, people have the devil came to steal. Unalive, divide and destroy. There's so many struggles out there. Life is too short for hate, chaos, tension, and bitterness. I can't do those things. I choose life, love, and peace. My stress level is high enough as is. Have a good day. #RumpVance 2024. Then on November 11th of 2025, the same user writes, so what's the real deal with this? I hear about $2,000 Rump is giving us Americans? Is this legit a thing or not? Well, let's see how she's doing now.
A few moments later.
Well, this user posted an image of gas prices, and she wrote, how in the world are we supposed to get by with gas prices like this? America, it has to change.
right-wing influencers are turning on Trump, even some who campaigned with him, because they don't like his latest actions or his words.
I don't know about you, but I am sick of this shit. I'm sick of it. Can't he just behave like a normal human?
You see, Trump has a MAGA problem, and the Iran war made it worse, including this Easter Sunday social media post demanding Iran open the effing Strait of Hormuz.
To send out a tweet with the F word on Easter morning promising the murder of civilians and then saying praise be to Allah without explaining any of it, you are mocking me and every other Christian because we're Christians. We can't support that.
And when Trump wrote "A whole civilization will die tonight," it prompted calls for the 25th Amendment to be invoked.
How do we 25th Amendment his ass?
Tackle Trump and let him pretend he's president and publicly report that he's going through a health issue and Vance take over. It literally needs to be something like that. It's that bad.
Removal is unlikely, but this could be a problem for Trump and Republicans ahead of the midterm elections this fall. Trump was reelected because he built a coalition of right-wing figures, conspiracy theorists, and agitators. Some in that movement are already angry about the lack of transparency around the Epstein files and the high cost of living. A war, when Trump promised no new wars, adds to that frustration. If they're disenfranchised, they may not show up to vote, which could make it harder for Republicans to retain control of Congress.
I voted 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and guess what? Came home after being away, and I'm fucking pissed. I think a lot of us are pissed right now.
Cara Maria took to social media to voice her displeasure with the current administration and the state of the world after returning from filming season 42 of The Challenge. She says that she's angry because everything that Donald Trump promised has not been delivered. Gas prices are high, groceries are still expensive, there's been no resolution with the Epstein files, and another war has been started. She said she didn't vote for any of that, and instead we got the opposite. She went on to mention how people will continue to attack and harass her for the rest of her life for a vote that she made, but can at least admit when she was wrong, and thinks that it shows more bravery to do that. She's tired of people labeling her and trying to put her in groups that she's not a part of. She then went on to say how she's still waiting on an apology from people who told her to get the COVID shot, who now may be experiencing complications after taking it. She now hates everyone in politics, except for Candace Owens, saying she may not agree with her on everything, but she's very enjoyable. She finished by saying how she wishes there was no government, that it's all corrupt, and we need to just take care of ourselves. What are your thoughts on everything that she had to say? Let us know in the comments and follow us for more challenge content like this.
Just listen to some of his biggest supporters, both then and now. Listen to what they have to say now.
I want to say, what is happening to the man that I supported, you supported?
And I will tell you right now, I do not recognize our president.
Look, I have not exactly found the correct words to communicate how I feel about President Donald Trump. I sort of ignore the topic of his existence altogether.
It just seems so insane based on what he ran on. I mean, this is why a lot of people feel betrayed, right?
You buried the Epstein files. There is no border wall. You didn't deliver on mass deportations. You cut corporate tax rates for the rich by cutting Medicaid again. No infrastructure bill, no middle class tax cuts. You gotta refund the tariffs. And now we're in a regime change war with Iran. That's the breaking point. I'm out.
It's funny because they keep saying they don't recognize this man. This is not the president. Who else recognizes him exactly how he is? Who else is not surprised that any of this shit is happening? Who else wasn't really down to vote in a convicted felon as president? Who else has believed all the women, over 100, throughout the years? What pisses me off about these people is they will support and back and defend until he turns on you. But it's okay if he turns on everybody else and says the most disgusting things to women and admits to doing things to women and is dangerous, not that smart. Maybe it's not a great idea to put the host of The Apprentice in charge of the free world. But eventually all of them start to backpedal, they start fighting each other. It's crumbling for you guys. But you all are the biggest reasons why this man is in office and all of this shit is happening. You defended and platformed and got all of your followers and listeners to vote MAGA. All of you.
Don't listen to the Democrats. I promise you, not a single Republican is regretting voting for Donald Trump. I've been seeing this weird rhetoric all over my For You page over the past couple of weeks because I think that a lot of you guys are starting to watch Candace Owens and her podcast recently. No, we don't. 100,000 fucking 52%. We do not regret voting for Donald Trump.
Au contraire, I've come across at least 50 videos in the past 20 minutes just looking briefly
of people who regret voting for Trump and who regret MAGA. Candace Owens being the #1 culprit in this is hilarious to me, and this made my week, especially since tomorrow is Juneteenth. And I have to share it with you guys because they're now regretting it, and too little, too late.
I never thought that I would see a day where I would be rooting for a university above Donald J. Trump and his administration. But I don't recognize his administration right now. I don't recognize what's happening. How could Trump be such a free speech enthusiast and allowing these things to happen?
Stupid bitches get stitches. Y'all hoes better quit playing with me.
I'm Hispanic and I vote for Mr. Trump. We vote for Mr. Trump. Yes!
Beyond betrayed. They used us.
We as Muslims stand with President Trump because he promises peace. He promises peace, not war.
Wow, the pressure is getting worse.
You voted for Donald Trump.
I did.
Do you regret that vote?
Yes, I do.
If you could say anything to President Trump now, what would you say?
I expected that you would do what was right doing that. You're creating a disaster, and I don't know what America's going to look like if this continues.
They took my wife.
This man who wished not to be identified says his wife is from Venezuela and has lived in...
So I admit, I regret my vote for Donald Trump. I regret it because I needed these changes. I needed the prices to go down sooner so that I didn't drain out my bank account.
Not clicking. What's not clicking? What's not clicking?
Imagine being so broke, you got to crowdfund regret. Y'all remember when this woman put that big old Trump tattoo on her forehead? Y'all remember that, right? Now Miss Girl is online begging for money. Begging for money. Socialism. So she can get it removed. I thought this was the perfect case study in Trump supporters and what they look like in real time. No money and no backup plan, just lifelong devotion. She loves capitalism, but now she wants to use GoFundMe to help clean up the bad choices that she made on her own. That ain't rugged individualism. That is socialism with a ring light. Honestly, I think Erica Kirk need to step in. I really do. I think she should step in and offer to get this Trump tattoo removed from this woman's forehead, but then in exchange, offer her a Vance tattoo, but she got to get it on her lower back. Yup, so she got to choose. Either keep that big-ass Trump tattoo on her forehead or to keep Vance on her lower back as a reminder. Both of them are a bad decision. Either way, she earned it. So no, nobody should be giving her any money to clean up her own mess. Choices were made, girl, so now you need to choose wisely.
Voted for President Trump.
Yes, sir.
Why did you vote for him?
Because I was an idiot. 80% of the evangelical Christian people were lied to, if you really want to know the truth, and that's exactly what happened. They said criminal, and I believe criminals need to be off the street.
I just want to make sure people watching this understand who you are.
My wife and I, when we don't work, we're ministers. We help the needy. That's what we do.
I've looked, but I can't find any compassion for Trump voters who now claim to have been duped because he said no new foreign wars, and you're in a foreign war. He said prices would go down. All prices have gone up. No one can even afford gas. But here's the thing. You voted for a liar, and you were okay with him being a liar. But now that he's lied to you, you're mad. Yeah, I still can't find any compassion.
Every American that's having trouble with this, I'm sorry I voted for him. I regret it with all my heart. I feel like I've enabled this monster to destroy democracy, destroy everything that is good in this country.
We've got a very crazy man driving the train, and he's going to kill this country.
And Anthony, are you voting a straight up and down Democratic ticket?
Not only there, I am actually for the very first time contributing across the board, across the country. And I've never, ever written a check or spent any money on anything political because I'm afraid. I'm afraid.
I've been a lifelong Republican since the day I turned 18. For the first time in my life, I'm going to vote a straight Democratic ticket. Is if they're connected to Donald Trump, they are not connected to me.
So you now are no longer a Republican.
I am not, no.
Because of Donald Trump.
Because of Donald Trump, it was no longer the party that I joined. It's morphed into something that's almost unrecognizable.
You were a lifelong Republican.
Right.
If somebody had told you, say 15 years ago, that you are preparing to vote a straight up and down Democratic ticket in the midterms, you would have said what to them?
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah.
So why are you now doing it?
To see Republicans not stand up to him, and the ones that do are just quitting.
I just think there's no values left anymore. There should be values. We have no values. He doesn't have any values. I thought he had values. No, I'm definitely voting Democrat. I've been knocking on doors. I got a clipboard. You're even canvassing. I am canvassing for a Democrat That's in how Wyoming. strongly you feel. I believe hardly anything the president says, but I do believe he's a danger to this country and to our democracy.
Oops. It's almost like we weren't lying to you. But I'll say this, even though I will never forgive them for what they've done. And look, my forgiveness has no bearing on their life whatsoever. I'm glad to see that at least they are taking a proactive stance with this. Like, I fucked up. Now I need to put my boots on the ground and help make this better. And if you are any one of those people who is sorry for what you've done, if you're sitting back, staying quiet while democracy falls, just remember this. We know who you are. We'll remember what you did. And if the last thing that you did was vote for this man, that's how you'll be remembered. Now, if you go out and you start campaigning for real candidates who care about the people and you take proactive steps to make a change, that's how you'll be remembered. Owning up to doing bad shit is really hard. Trust me, I know. But you'll get a hell of a lot more respect than the respect you have now, which is zero.
Not proud of it, man enough to say it. I was one of those guys back in 2020, 2024, shit, even 2016 before I could vote. I was all for Trump. I was all for MAGA. I believed he was going to make America great again. I believed he was going to drain the swamp. I thought he was going to be different. He wasn't a career politician. And boy, was I wrong. My views didn't change. They still remain the same. I did fall for the deception, though, because I can't in good conscience support someone who's responsible for a pointless war where thousands of innocent lives are dying every single day. I can't support someone who mocked Christ on Easter. I sure as hell can't support someone who calls the people who want transparency on one of the most heinous and insidious acts in human history, the Epstein files, calls them liars and lunatics. He's probably a part of it himself. Can't support that. When it comes to politics, it's hard to even align myself with one of the parties because they're both being controlled by the same puppeteers at the top. So I was wrong. Not proud of it. Man enough to say it.
Here's the thing. If you're a 3 times Trumper and you're one of the people who voted us into the mess that we're currently a part of, and you're now just starting to regret that decision, I don't think you get to come out and post that on the internet and try and recenter yourself in the conversation. It's your opportunity to sit the fuck back and listen to the people who have been anti-Trump since a fucking decade ago. But instead you come online and now you're trying to garner sympathy from people because you've been a moron. Sit back, amplify the voices of people who have been on that game since day one, and shut the fuck up.
All my Wall Street buddies voted for him, and now they're all regretting the fact that they voted for him. So, you know, it's just one of those things.
Are they all regretting that they voted for him? I mean, a lot of them have doing well out of the markets.
I think most people are regretting it. Yeah. I mean, look, I'm of the belief that prices are higher. We have an oil crisis going on right now. He imposed illegal tariffs, which raised the pricing umbrella for all the lower middle income people that voted for him. You're in a quagmire of a war. It's going to be very difficult to disengage the United States from that war. You've weakened our relationships with our European allies, our Gulf allies. He's put us in a very vulnerable state as a country and an economy. If you want to make the case that the banks have record profits in the short term, sure. but he's also suing some of the banking executives. This is a very difficult time in the country where you are losing the predictive capability of our justice system, and you're losing the predictive capability of what our civil rights are and what our free speech rights are in the country. For those reasons, it's very, very bad for business. So yeah, I think a lot of people are regretting it.
Democrats, you're right. I mean, with all the shit going on in the news today, with the stock market and the financial war with China, you're right. I'm really starting to regret my vote for Donald Trump. I'm really starting to regret it. Nah, that's exactly what we voted for. That's right, DJT. Keep doing your thing. Keep giving them hell. You got a large population that supports you in everything that you're doing. And most real Americans think you're doing a hell of a job, too. And yeah, it'll be tough a little bit, but anything is better than what we suffered the last 4 years under Biden and Harris. Anything. I mean, compared to that administration, we're living the dream. And I don't give a damn what liberals say. I don't regret my vote. Not 1 minute, not 1 millisecond do I regret voting for Donald Trump. So go run tell that Charles Schumer, Jasmine Crocker shit, Maxine the Mummy Waters, AOC, and Bernie.
The reality is American MAGA voters, they are so frustrated. They are angry, they feel betrayed, and right now they are lashing out online. When you go online, you see so many MAGAs saying that during the campaign time, they were promised certain things, and somehow they are not fulfilled. For example, they were told the current administration say they're going to make America great. They're going to create jobs. They're going to make sure when you go to the supermarket, the grocery prices are going to be affordable. When you literally go to the hospital, you're going to get affordable Medicare. Unfortunately, it's the opposite of what's happening. So some MAGA voters they are so frustrated with Donald Trump due to perceived failures to deliver on core promises. Friction stemmed from rising living costs, which is right now you're being told gas prices are very expensive, grocery prices are very expensive as a result of the Iran war, as a result of the tariff war that happened just the other day, and foreign entanglement, that is the Iran war, is also contradicting promises to avoid overseas conflict and concerns over the administration transparency and policies. So many working class and MAGA-based supporters say that Trump went ahead and made certain promises that now he's not fulfilling. So they feel like the inflation, high fuel prices, and increased grocery bills have eroded consumer sentiment. For many in the MAGA base, the economy reality on the ground has not matched the promises made, causing mounting frustration. Do you agree? Or do you have alternative views? I'd love to hear from you guys. So Trump built significant support on the American First platform, saying that promises that is going to avoid getting into foreign conflicts. However, his administration actions and consideration regarding overseas entanglement, such as the Middle East, have deeply alienated the strong supporters of the MAGA base. And of course, the isolating allies also has made the MAGA base to feel like as if Americans are not fulfilling their promises. So there's a growing displeasure regarding certain personnel decisions and a perceived lack of transparency. The disconnect among base voters, including prominent right-wing influencers, has also surfaced over the administration handling of certain investigation and reluctance to declassify specific documents which many base voters champion for. This resulted with the Epstein files. Some people feel like not all the files have been released to the public. They feel like they have literally choose some files to release to the public, while some files are still kept secret. While Trump exerts massive control over the Republican Party, often successful pushing out opposition in state races like Indiana, this hardline approach has created a rift. Factions of the base occasionally disagree with his messaging or legislation maneuvers, leading to high-profile ideological dispute within the Conservative Party. So, rather than switching parties, some Disillusioned MAGA voters, particularly young conservative, have expressed an interest to stay home during election or vote for third-party candidate or simply abstain from politics entirely. All in all, MAGA voters are not happy. They are feeling frustrated, they are feeling betrayed, and they are saying the promises have not been kept. Do you agree? What are your thoughts? But one thing is for sure, majority of MAGA voters, they are saying they are sorry and they wish they could go back in time and change the way they vote. One thing people don't understand is when you go to cast your ballot, when you vote, each and every election, they have consequences in real life. And right now, Americans are feeling it in real life and it's affecting everybody, not only the MAGA voters, but also people in the Democratic parties. What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear from you guys, and please subscribe to my channel.